Your mindset is the lens through which you see the world, and it has the power to shape every part of your reality. Two people can go through the exact same situation, yet respond in completely different ways because of how they think. One person might see a challenge as the end of their journey, while another sees it as the beginning of growth. This difference doesn't come from circumstances, it comes from mindset. If you constantly focus on what's wrong, what's missing, or what's unfair, then life will always feel heavy, limited, and unfair to you. When you choose to train your mind to see opportunities in problems, to find lessons in failures, and to hold on to hope when everything feels uncertain, then you unlock a power that circumstances cannot control. Your thoughts influence your emotions influence your decisions, and your decisions create your reality. That means every single day you are building your future based on the way you think. If your mind is filled with doubt, fear, and negativity, you will find yourself trapped in the same cycles of frustration. But if your mind is filled with faith, resilience, and vision, you will rise above limitations and create a life that aligns with your true potential. A powerful mindset is not something you are born with. It is something you develop. It requires awareness, discipline, and a willingness to change the inner dialogue you have with yourself. When you start telling yourself, I can, even when things seem impossible, you give yourself permission to rise. When you replace thoughts of fear with thoughts of courage, your actions will follow in the same direction. Too many people allow their past to chain them down, believing that because they failed once, they are destined to fail again. But the truth is, your past is not a prison. It's a teacher. Every mistake, every wrong turn, every disappointment you've endured has not been wasted. Instead, it has been preparing you for the person you are becoming. Think about it, the most successful people in the world are not the ones who never failed. They are the ones who refuse to let failure define them. They fell, they stumbled, they made choices they regretted, but they chose to rise again. They understood that the past is a lesson, not a life sentence. Carrying the weight of past pain, regret, or shame keeps you from seeing the possibilities of the future. It's like walking forward while looking backward. You can't see the road ahead if your eyes are fixed on what's already behind you. But the moment you decide to release the grip of yesterday, you open your hands to receive what tomorrow has for you. Your story is not over. That broken chapter is not the conclusion. It's only part of the journey. The things you thought disqualified you may actually be the very things that equip you to inspire and help others. What you went through has given you wisdom, strength, and resilience that someone who never struggled will never understand. Life is about progress, not perfection. The past cannot be changed, but the future can be written differently. And every new decision you make today is a chance to rewrite your story in a better way. Talent may open the door, but consistency is what keeps you inside the room. So many people admire gifted individuals and assume that their success came overnight. But what they don't see are the countless hours of practice, the moments of sacrifice, and the determination to show up even when it wasn't easy. Consistency is the bridge between where you are now and where you dream of being. The truth is, talent without discipline often fades away. You can be the most talented person in the room, but if you lack the commitment to show up day after day, your talent will remain unused potential. On the other hand, someone with average talent but unshakable consistency will surpass the one who only relies on natural ability. It's not about what you can do once in a while. It's about what you do repeatedly with persistence and dedication. Consistency builds trust with yourself. Every time you follow through on a promise you made to yourself, whether it's waking up early, working on your goals, or staying disciplined in your habits, you're proving to your own mind that you are reliable. And when you begin to trust yourself, confidence grows, and confidence leads to action. The small, daily steps matter more than big, occasional efforts. Reading 10 minutes a day eventually fills a library of wisdom. Exercising regularly builds strength over time. Saving a little consistently creates wealth. Great change doesn't come from one giant leap. It comes from steady steps taken with patience and perseverance. Consistency is also what sustains you during times when motivation runs dry. There will be days you don't feel like trying, when the excitement is gone and the results seem invisible. That's where discipline carries you further than passion ever could. Motivation may inspire you, but consistency will transform you. The environment you place yourself in has the power to shape your future more than you realize. The people around you either fuel your growth or drain your potential. If you surround yourself with negativity, constant criticism, and people who doubt your dreams, it becomes almost impossible to rise above that atmosphere. But when you choose to place yourself among those who uplift you, challenge you, and believe in your vision, you create an environment where growth becomes natural. Think of it like planting a seed. A seed may have all the potential inside it, but if it's placed in dry, toxic soil, it will never grow. On the other hand, if it's planted in rich, nourishing soil, it will flourish. You are that seed, and your surroundings are the soil. No matter how much potential lies within you, if your environment is toxic, your growth will always be limited. Your inner circle influences how you think, how you act, and how you see yourself. Spend enough time with negative voices, and you will start to believe their doubts. Spend enough time with dreamers, doers, and believers, and you will begin to see new possibilities for your own life. This is why it's so important to be intentional about who you allow to have access to your mind and heart. Sometimes growth requires distance. You may need to step away from people who constantly drain your energy, even if you care about them deeply. That doesn't mean you stop loving them. It simply means you value your own future enough to protect it. The right environment doesn't just make you feel good, it stretches you, holds you accountable, and inspires you to reach higher. Surroundings also include what you consume daily, what you read, watch, and listen to. If your mind is constantly filled with negativity, gossip, or distractions, it will weaken your focus. But when you feed your mind with wisdom, positivity, and inspiration, you create the mental environment that allows you to grow stronger, wiser, and more determined. Gratitude is one of the most powerful forces that can transform your life because it changes the way you see the world. Many people spend their days focusing on what they lack, what went wrong, or what they wish was different, and as a result, they live in a constant state of dissatisfaction. But gratitude takes your eyes off what you don't have and teaches you to value what you already do. It is not about ignoring your struggles. It's about refusing to let them blind you to your blessings. When you practice gratitude, even in the smallest ways, your perspective begins to shift. Suddenly, instead of waking up and complaining about what's missing, you wake up thankful for the gift of another day, for the breath in your lungs, for the opportunities still ahead of you. Gratitude doesn't mean your life is perfect. It means you choose to recognize the goodness that exists even in the middle of imperfection. Gratitude creates peace within. When your heart is focused on thankfulness, there is less room for envy, bitterness, or comparison. Instead of looking at what others have and feeling like you're behind, you start to appreciate your own journey. This sense of inner contentment becomes a strength, helping you face challenges without being overwhelmed by negativity. It also attracts more blessings into your life. The more you appreciate what you have, the more life gives you to appreciate. Opportunities, relationships, and growth flow more easily to those who are thankful, because gratitude opens your mind to see doors you might have otherwise overlooked. It sharpens your focus on the positive and empowers you to keep moving forward with hope. Gratitude is not just an emotion, it is a practice. It requires intentional effort, especially on the hard days. Taking a moment to write down what you're thankful for, speaking words of appreciation to those around you, or simply pausing to acknowledge the beauty in a small moment can reframe your entire day. One of the greatest truths about personal transformation is that growth rarely feels comfortable. In fact, discomfort is often the clearest signal that you are stepping into new levels of strength, wisdom, and opportunity. Too many people avoid discomfort because it feels painful or unfamiliar, but the reality is that every significant breakthrough in life is born out of a season of stretching. Think about the process of building muscle. In order to get stronger, the muscle fibers must first be broken down through resistance and pressure. Without that temporary pain, there can be no growth. The same principle applies to your mind, your character, and your dreams. Every challenge that stretches you, every obstacle that tests your patience, every situation that feels uncomfortable is actually preparing you to handle something greater. Comfort zones feel safe, but they also keep you small. When you stay in what is familiar, you deny yourself the chance to discover how much potential you truly carry. Discomfort, on the other hand, pushes you to adapt, to learn, and to develop resilience. It forces you to dig deeper, to find strength you didn't know you had, and to expand your vision beyond what you thought was possible. The most successful and fulfilled people are not those who avoided discomfort, but those who embraced it. They understood that the moments of uncertainty, fear, and difficulty were not signs to stop, but invitations to grow. Discomfort means you are moving beyond old limitations. It means you are on the edge of transformation, stepping into territory that will shape you into a stronger version of yourself. Instead of running from discomfort, begin to see it as evidence that you are evolving. Every time you feel stretched, challenged, or tested, remind yourself that you are not breaking, you are becoming. The words you speak are not just sounds, they are seeds. Every word you release has the potential to shape your mindset, influence your actions, and create the reality you live in. Too often, people underestimate the impact of their own words. They speak carelessly, declaring failure, doubt, or negativity over their lives, not realizing that their tongue is directing the course of their future. When you constantly say, "I can't," your mind begins to accept those words as truth, and your actions will follow in that direction. When you declare, "I'm not good enough," you limit yourself before you even try. But the same power works in the opposite way. When you speak life, hope, and confidence into your days, even when your circumstances look difficult, you begin to shift the atmosphere around you. Words can either chain you to defeat or unlock the doors to possibility. This is why it's so important to be intentional with what you speak, not just to others, but to yourself. The conversations you have in your own head, the silent declarations you repeat daily, are programming your mind to either rise or fall. Telling yourself, "I will get through this," or "I am capable," may seem simple, but these affirmations begin to rewire your thinking. Over time, your words build an inner strength that empowers you to take bolder steps. Your words also affect those around you. A single encouraging statement can breathe hope into someone who is ready to give up, while careless criticism can crush a spirit. When you choose to speak kindness, truth, and inspiration, you're not just changing your own life, you're influencing the lives of everyone connected to you. The power of your words is like a fire. It can burn and destroy, or it can warm and give light. Once spoken, words cannot be taken back, but they can leave lasting impact. This is why choosing them carefully and using them with purpose is one of the greatest responsibilities you carry. Inspiration is powerful, but without action it quickly fades away. You can listen to the most uplifting speeches, read the most motivational books, or fill your mind with endless positive thoughts. But if you never take a step forward, your life will remain the same. Change does not come from what you hear, it comes from what you do. Action is the bridge between your dreams and your reality. Too many people mistake motivation for progress. They feel excited after hearing a powerful message, but then return to their old habits the moment the emotion fades. Real transformation requires discipline, commitment, and a willingness to take small, consistent steps toward your goals, even when you don't feel motivated. Action creates momentum, and momentum creates results. Every great achievement begins with a decision followed by action. It doesn't matter how small the step is, the important part is that you move. Writing a single page leads to a book. Saving a small amount leads to financial freedom. Making one courageous choice leads to a lifetime of confidence. When you act, you tell yourself that your dreams matter enough to be pursued, not just imagined. Action also builds clarity. Many people wait for the perfect plan, the perfect timing, or the perfect opportunity, but perfection never comes. The more you wait, the more stagnant you become. But when you act, even imperfectly, you begin to learn, adjust, and grow. Clarity is not found in sitting still, it's found in moving forward and discovering what works along the way. The gap between who you are and who you want to be will never close with inspiration alone. It requires courage to take that first step, persistence to keep going, and resilience to rise after setbacks. Every single day presents you with a choice: stay where you are or take action that moves you closer to where you want to be.